Hey there, friends. We are ready to do the Pinwheel Tower card, or Tower Pinwheel card, or something. Okay, so it's kind of cool. So it stands up like this, and you've got, you're going to have people that participated in class will have gotten 6 pieces of the Glad Tidings, something like that, designer series paper. And so I'm going to show you the trick for this, okay? All right, so the first thing you need to do is from your whatever designer series paper you're going to use, you actually need a piece that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so if you have a big 12 by 12, just cut a 4 1/4 inch strip and cut a couple of 4 1/4s. If you're starting with 6 by 6, you're going to need to cut it at 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 if you care. And for this, it doesn't really matter unless you care what you see down inside there. Okay, everything else is going to be all covered up. It doesn't matter. But if you want to use the leftover pieces and have vertical stripes, I would go ahead and cut it that way, so that your leftover pieces like this have a vertical. So now you have this piece and the stripes are vertical, so you can add it. You'll have to trim it a little bit, okay? But what I'm saying is be cognizant of the direction of the paper, mostly for whatever's left over. Okay, then we're going to cut this way, 4 1/4. So now we have some smaller ones, or we have this pattern goes the other way, and that also will work. Okay, so now we're going to put our cutter out of the way. This is a square, so it doesn't make any difference which side you score. All right, you're going to score every inch. Okay, and it's going to leave you a little tiny hangover. All right, so we're going to score that one. This is a kind of a wimpy score blade. And then at 2, this is the older trimmer, so my new one has a nice blade, and I would have to not press very hard so that I didn't tear the designer series paper. Okay, so now we have 4 scores, and they're all going, and you're going to fold on the same direction on all of them, okay? So they're all going to go this way. Let me grab my bone folder and make sure we're getting some nice crisp scores. Okay. Like this, and one last one. Now, when you're trying to build something that is square, okay, it's really hard to do it in the air. You're gonna be tipped off some way, all right? So my suggestion is you don't do that. My suggestion is you lay that little piece flat and you fold this over. So we're gonna put a little bit of our liquid glue, not a lot because you don't want it to squish everywhere. So a tiny little bit. Okay, this stuff is super strong. And then just fold this over. And now you have a nice tower cube. Okay? All right, so now we need to put our paddles, our wings, or whatever you want to call them on. All right, here's what I found is the easiest. You're going to want your adhesive, and you can use tear tape, you can use, you know what, my Stampin' seal will be strong enough. And you're just gonna go right along by the fold, okay? Then you're gonna take your first piece, which is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and you're gonna bump it right next to that score line, okay? All right, then you're gonna fold it and you're going to do the same thing. Okay, you're going to put a little adhesive, and you're going to come here and you're going to press that there. Okay, see how that's working? Okay, so now we're going to fold it one more time over here, like this. Whoops, it slid away from the... There we go, that's better. Okay. Now, if you were to go like this, you can't get that last one, so you're going to have to do the last one this way, right over here. Okay. Now, you have your pinwheel. Okay. Now you can put adhesive on that whole, I've made a couple of these. You can cover the entire thing with adhesive if you want to. And you probably should put at least 2. I was just doing this for the video, so I only did 1. But you would probably want, so that you don't have that lift. In fact, let's just solve that problem right now. Okay, we're just gonna go like this. Sneak a little glue in there. Press that one, see if we can find all the problem spots. Okay. Yeah, I should have just done that before. So you're gonna want adhesive on the whole part of the tower. Okay, so that you don't have to do this that I'm doing. And go back and add more adhesive like that. Okay, whoops, we got a little leaking out. Hopefully that won't. Last one. There. Okay. There. So now you can start decorating. And I don't think I left myself a piece of white. Oh, wait, yes, I did. Oh, good. So one of them can have the white, and all right. So now you've got lots of other pieces of designer series paper to choose from. You can trim them. You will need some for this side over here that are 1.5 by 4, and then you will need some that for this panel that are 2.5 by 4. Okay. So that's what this is. And hang on one second. I need this evening Evergreen stamp pad again. We used it earlier in the One Sheet Wonder. Okay. So we'll stamp a tree on there. And this can be where you put your greeting, or you sign it, or whatever. Okay. Now, you will notice that you see both sides when it's flat. It's not noticeable when it's standing up, but when it's flat, you see both of these pieces. So you might want to cut yourself some pieces. I'm still a little too wide. Where's that trimmer? Let's get ourselves some. Yeah, that's just a little wider than 1.5. There. By 4. Okay. Oh, you know what? I know that's not going to work. All right, so now is this 4? It is. So now we want 2.5. There. So what I'm going to show you is you can have them match. Okay, that's too big. So you can put this one here, the 1.5. Okay, and then on this other panel, let's just stick it down. Okay. Well, the rain that they've been saying is coming is finally here. Okay, so then on this one, then you can put this one here and watch what's going to happen. It's going to be really pretty. Now you can't always make it work that way, but you can get some of it to match like that. Okay. So now when they're reading it, at least this side matches. Okay, and then the rest doesn't much matter. You may want to pull out the red so we can do this piece to make it 1.5 by 4. It should be 4 tall anyway. And it's just a smidge too wide. You may want that for something else. You may not. Okay. Oh, maybe it is too tall. I thought it was 4, but it's not. It's too tall. Not by much. That I'm not going to save. All right. Like that. Now, what you could do, if you wanted to, since we're going to punch one of these fun pine trees. This was a bundle a couple years ago with the Perfectly Plaid set. Now you buy them separately. Anyway, what you could do is put your tree here and put this little bit over here. Let me see. I think that's going to actually look pretty good, you guys. So what I'm going to do is just use the one that's tipped upside down. Like this. And actually, I'm going to flip it back so I can see how much of that I want to show. Like that. Okay, and then when they turn it, then the tree will be here. Okay, and you could use some of your rhinestones, or, well, maybe not rhinestones. You want something pretty flat, especially if this is going in the mail. Okay, put some little snowflake punch, or, you know, something like that there. Okay, or you could put a little piece in there. So, you know, you have some options. Okay, but that's kind of fun. You don't even need to put anything there. Then maybe we'll put our green stripes that we saved. So you can really decorate with mostly what's left over. All right. You don't even need probably all of those pieces. But let me show you how to put a tag on there. There's a really fun, I've actually forgotten the name of the punch. Oh, excuse me, I've got the hiccups. There we go. All right, and you could stamp a greeting up here. You know, you could just put, I bet this one would work. Hang on. Let's try it. You might want to stamp before you assemble, but let's try this and see if I can get it to work. Maybe a complete flop, and I may be covering it with something else later, but let's see if I can get it. It's a little funky where it rocked a little bit. I'll probably make a tag of that and put it on there, but that's okay. If you if you figure out and do your stamping first, it wouldn't be a problem. Okay. All right, so then we have this one, and I want to show you. Let's use something pretty plain. Let's use this for our background. So we're gonna chop this at 4, like that, and chop this at 2.5. And we'll save these pieces because you never know, you might want them. I'm going to show you another little trick too. Okay. So let's put this in here. I do like this side too, but I'll show you why I wanted something a little bit plain. Okay. Because if you take this punch, actually most of our label punches, if you like one edge but you need it longer, there we go. What you can do is don't put it in this way, okay, because then you'll run out of room. Put it in from the back side this way, okay. And sometimes they get stuck, so they need a little lift. So you just take your paper piercing tool or something and just lift a little bit so it'll go in between there. Okay. Then you want to kind of eyeball and make sure you're pretty straight and even on both sides. Okay. And now you have a tag with that pretty top, but it's longer than the punch. Okay, so now we're going to do that same thing with the evening evergreen. There it goes. So once it's in, then you can fiddle with it a little bit and get it just where you want it. Okay, like that. So now we could stamp on this, but we can't use that greeting because it's too wide. So let's see if this one, oh, that's too big. Anyway, I didn't bring over a smaller greeting. You just find one that works. This one is just barely. Like you lose just a time. It's really hard unless you were doing it with a Stamparatus or something. So anyway, you put your tags together like this. And then that can have a greeting as well. And at the bottom of your greeting, you can use the punch that matches the Evergreen Elegance stamp set, which is where we got that cute little pine tree that we used. So this one can punch a whole row. You can just keep going and get a whole long row, or you can put just a small piece in the punch it once, you get out your little trees. It kind of looks like this is the trees, but that's the negative that you don't want. And then you just take your paper snips and snip that out of there. Okay. Then you can put this, oh yeah, oh no, it's not stuck. So you can just kind of get rid of that hard corner like that. Same over here, like that. And then you can just put your little trees at the bottom like that, and then have your greeting up here. So I'm going to go ahead and add these trees. Okay. There. Okay. And then this can go on here. Okay. Then you can find a nice pattern that matches those colors. So let's see what we've got here. I've made a whole bunch of these, so I have lots of pieces left over. Oh, there, let's put this one. And you just keep working your way around until you're all the way back to the beginning. Like that. So now and that's where that tag would go for another greeting. Okay. So you can decorate them any way you want. You just want to make sure you kind of are cognizant of the flatness and that it's mailing, but it does mail in a standard envelope. Okay, it folds flat. So you could find the side that you wanted to have them see when they open their envelope. Okay. So there's your Tower Pinwheel card. Isn't that fun? I love these. I have made a lot of them, and they are so fun and so easy. Oh, one of mine had a little pocket for the tag. Like that. So to do that, you just do a 2.5 inch square and then just cut it diagonally, and then just do the tiniest bit of adhesive around the two side edges so that you can tuck that in there. Okay, and then this one didn't have anything. Here's another kind of greeting that we did with a little tag. And you can see I used little strips of the designer series paper in some places. I had 2 different ones and covered the seam with a 3rd. There's lots and lots of options, okay? So I hope you enjoy that. Have fun.